Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 Today.
Rise and shine, Western Oregon. Happy Wednesday. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on NBC 16 Today. I'm Zach Bruhl. We'll get to all those stories in just a moment, but first we're taking a look outside to see how weather and traffic are shaping up in the early morning hours of this Wednesday, just after 6 o'clock a.m. A little bit of moisture on those roadways. You can tell through the Hyatt Tower cam that rainfall is leaving an impact on the roadways as we get the day started today. We're going to continue to see some active weather throughout the day as well, and it could be a range of types of active weather. First of all, yesterday saw some moisture start to accumulate across the region. We're going to continue to see opportunities for rain throughout the day today as the low pressure system continues to be pretty widespread across the region as we go forward. Rainfall, pretty impressive totals, especially out on the south coast where we're getting up towards 3 inches over the next 2 days, but really over an inch pretty consistently on average across the region all the way up into the Cascades. And that snow level forecast showing that we may see some opportunity to see some snowfall all the way down towards that 1,000 feet marker. Even my outlook showing that a chance to see some flakes landing all the way down into the valley floors over the next 24 hours as well. We're looking into Thursday morning where you see a chance to see some flakes down as low as that. I don't think they'll actually stick though. More like snowfall that might flutter down towards the valley floors then melt once it hits the ground. But don't be shocked to see some of the snowflakes around the region tomorrow morning. Now let's head out to the roadways and check in with our live shop buddy. LSB giving us our third look at traffic this morning. He's gone from Springfield back into Eugene this morning, continuing to see similar conditions though. Wet roadways and light traffic flow, this time on West 11th Avenue in Eugene, where again, roads are a little bit moist. Be careful about that and drive with some additional caution today because those roads may be just a little bit slicker as you get your Wednesday morning commute going, but things are looking pretty smooth out there on the trip check is the thing I'm looking at. No vehicle accidents to report, no delays so far reported on your Wednesday morning commute. So things are looking pretty smooth. So LSB can hang on, cruise on to his next mocha here in just a few minutes. Drive safely, buddy. Thanks so much.
There's no words for it. It's a baby and it's so hard.
The Siletz community is grieving this morning after the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office says a diver discovered the body of 2-year-old Dane Paulson in the Siletz River. This comes after 11 days of searching for the toddler who went missing from his yard back on March 1st. Hundreds of searchers, divers, canines, and community members have been looking for the boy since then, with a focus on the Siletz River. The man who found him is with Angels Recovery Dive Team. He drove up from California to volunteer. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office says the investigation is ongoing, but as of now, there's no evidence to suggest criminal activity. Turning our focus nationally, we take a live look at the White House this morning. President Trump has imposed new, higher taxes on some goods brought into the United States. Now, those kicked in at midnight. The new tariffs follow another down day on Wall Street. And now the president has taken the first steps towards dismantling the Department of Education, slashing about half of the department's workforce. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from D.C.
This morning, major cuts to the Department of Education, with the announcement nearly half its staff, roughly 1,300 career employees, will be out of a job. Education Secretary Linda McMahon called it eliminating bureaucratic bloat and a step toward President Trump's ultimate goal.
This directive to me clearly is to shut down the Department of Education.
That would require an act of Congress, though the president has talked repeatedly about leaving school policy to the states, setting off alarm among many parents like Lindsay Latham, who worries about losing federal oversight and grant funding for special education services children like her son Calvin rely on.
To make sure that their kid is being treated fairly and given the opportunity to learn like any other kid. If we go backwards, we are going to see such a regression in the most vulnerable population.
Secretary McMahon saying the department will still deliver on special education funding and other statutory programs. From nervous parents to rattled markets. Wall Street saw more losses Tuesday as another bout in the Trump trade war takes effect today. 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from around the world, hitting Canada hardest, though the president dropped a threat to double the metal tariffs on Canada because of a 25% electricity surcharge Ontario's premier imposed before both sides backed down. Amid the uncertainty, President Trump rejecting growing concerns about a possible recession.
I don't see it at all. I think this country is going to boom.
Adamant his sweeping tariffs will strengthen the U.S. economy. The House has cleared a major hurdle in preventing a government shutdown at the end of this week, narrowly passing a 6-month funding bill that now heads to the Senate, with Democrats divided over wanting to push back against the Trump administration while not wanting to add to economic uncertainty with a shutdown. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Now, the question of tariffs on Canadian products has businesses planning for the future. Local businesses say they're working to minimize potential increased costs to consumers, although they may not be currently impacted by President Trump's planned tariffs on Canada. NBC 16's Lexi Ryan spoke with business owners about what they're doing to prepare.
President Donald Trump backtracked Tuesday on threats to raise tariffs on aluminum and steel from Canada to 50%, but 25% tariff is still slated to go into effect on Wednesday. Chuck's seafood plant supervisor Jake Regard said though his company does not currently import aluminum from Canada for its canning operations, that does not mean that things will change in the future.
As of right now, it does not affect Chuck's as a whole because we buy only in the United States of America. Now, short term, should be fine. Now, long term, going forward, if the cans are not accessible in the United States, then we will have to reach out to Canada.
Others are doing their best to work around the threat of tariffs by buying as much as they can while they can from domestic sources.
We have pre-bought a whole truckload of cans, which normally we would buy a half a truckload, just so that we can survive this year without paying tariffs on cans, so we do not have to pass that cost on to our consumers.
Bandon Seafood Market Farm and Sea says it sources much of its product locally, but it could soon see an increased cost due to importing canned fish from Canada.
When we get some of our fish from Canada waters and it's processed in Canada, then that could pose a few tariffs and increase pricing. But right now, we have not seen any price increases at all right now.
In Coos County, I'm Lexi Ryan.